Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Q&A video answer segment type of video, hanging out with you guys, answering some of your questions. This one constitutes Q&A number 24, leading up to The Walking Dead Season 6, starting with the question, how long do I think Morgan is going to survive? Okay, yeah, so this one will contain some kind of spoilers for the Walking Dead comic book series, not the TV series, because it's going to be its own version. It's going to be unique and different. This was a question from Seth Mattox, and he says, "Hey Trev, Q&A, do you think Morgan will die when he does in the comics, or do you think that what they did with Tyrese, where he had the arm cut and everything like that, was a replacement?" So that's a great question. I mean, it does feel somewhat similar, a little bit, between what they did with Tyrese in the Walking Dead television series and Morgan's death in the Walking Dead comic book series. Somewhat. It's not... I don't know. I mean, it is in some ways with regards to what happened with Michonne, that and the sword and everything and the placement. But, the situation was at a different timing. I think more along the lines of if they were to do it in Season 6, it'd be an exact replacement. Otherwise, now they've kind of done it way earlier with Tyrese, and, it's quite a bit different, that said, too. So I don't think necessarily it was like a replacement for it. I mean, we could still see some deaths when the events of No Way Out actually does occur, when it actually does happen. And I am expecting to see, some kind of deaths, right? Maybe another character killed in similar fashion to Morgan. I almost feel like with Tyrese, they kind of just didn't really know what to do. He had outlived the comic book version by quite a while in the television series, in terms of viewer time over a season, right? So that is a while, and you're waiting the summer, it's like a whole year, in terms of viewer time. In terms of TV series time, not that much different, but even then too, it's a little bit different because it's a different story arc in what happened to Tyrese. So with Morgan, now Lenny, there's a lot of variables here, a lot of things we don't know about. How busy is Lenny James? Is he going to be able to just come into The Walking Dead and stay for a whole season, which is something he's never done? He's been there for the beginning of the series with the pilot. He's been there, later on with Clear in Season 3. But we've never seen him, consistently all the way through for a whole season living with the group. So that's something different that we're going to have to see how that goes. I really hope that he does stay and that he is kind of a mainstay character for at least a few seasons. I think he kind of has to be, after all the build up and how long it took him to reach Rick and reach the rest of the group. Season 5 was really like, he wasn't there all the time, but he felt like he was there a lot because they clipped it up and they put different clips in different important episodes throughout the season to really give us a sense that Morgan was kind of closing in and that he was on their trail and eventually would find them, which of course he did at the end of the season, which was great. So I think after all that build up and everything, I want to say that from a viewer standpoint, he should at least survive for a few seasons. If they're going to do like a one season thing with him or half season thing with him, I think it would have to be the same thing as what they did with Shane in Season 2, where he just gets a ton of time, a ton of concentration, and gets a lot of screen time. Then if they did that, it could make sense. So we'll have to see Season 6 and how much time he actually is getting. But I would say that I think he'll survive at least a few seasons. I'd be a little disappointed if they killed him off in Season 6, to tell you the truth. But yeah, we all know, if we've read the comic series, at what timing, what happens with him. I don't want to get too much into it because a lot of people don't read the comic series. But if you want to check it out, check it out. So what I'm saying is I hope and I think he will survive for quite a while. Maybe a few seasons. I'll go with like maybe 2, 3, 4 seasons, somewhere around there. But again, a lot of variables we don't know. Lenny James, very amazing actor, very, very good actor. So he's obviously busy with other stuff sometimes too, other shows. And he keeps really busy if you look at what's been going on. Even while he's been on The Walking Dead here and there, for an episode here or there, he's working on other stuff. He had Low Winter Sun and all kinds of different stuff that he's been in over the years since his time starting The Walking Dead. It's because like 5 years now. Going into the 6th season, that'd be like the 6th year. It's crazy how fast time does fly. Cool. So there's your answer, Seth. I hope you appreciate it. I think he was excited to be in one of the Q&As. Yeah, and I wanted to say too, I try my best to try to grab as many different questions from different, viewers as I can, from you guys, as many as I can, and include them in the Q&As. I do the best I can. It's difficult because I got other stuff I'm doing. Of course, you guys know I work a full-time job, and then after work, I don't. A lot of times I don't have a lot of energy to work on the channel that much. I do the Game of Thrones stuff right now because Game of Thrones is really popular right now, and it's amazing, man. Leading up to the finale, it's one of the best series I've ever seen for sure, too. So really into that as well. And then I want to still do some Walking Dead stuff with you guys. So I want to still do, some Q&As at least probably once a week, and not just comic book series stuff, TV series stuff as well, too. So I try to answer and get as many questions or as many, questions from you guys as I can and put them in the Q&As. It's just hard sometimes, like I said. So thank you for that from Seth, and also commenting in the channel too. I wanted to mention too, something I'm going to try to do is more commenting with you guys this summer and going in the future, because it's something I haven't been doing that much just because I've been so busy. But I'm going to try to do that a little bit more as well too, just because after 5 years on YouTube, you sometimes when the channel's smaller and you have like 10,000, 20,000 people, it's pretty easy to comment, or even 50,000 to be active. But when you get over that 100,000 mark, it's hard to spend time or to be fair. You know what I mean? To spread it out. So that's why I kind of just said, well, there's no way I can do it. I might as well not even bother. But I'm going to start doing at least a little bit. Commenting is better than nothing with you guys and hanging out with you guys. Cool. So let's move on for some more questions. Next one's from Ian Borton, and he says, something's on my mind. Did the Saviors ever encounter the Whisperers? So this is a Walking Dead comic book series question, sort of, but eventually we'll see this in the TV series. If they did, how do you think it went down? And if the Whisperers do decide to attack Alexandria, do you think the Saviors will be involved? So, no, I don't think the Whisperers and the Saviors ever encountered each other before. I don't think Negan has any concept of what the Whisperers do. I don't think he ever encountered them. Maybe it was just kind of one of those places, like, it's a big zombie apocalypse world out there, and there's a lot of different zones and a lot of different places, and they could have been a few miles away and just never crossed paths, right? I mean, if you saw a Whisperer, you wouldn't necessarily know that you did, and if you just avoid them and head off, unless they track you or chase you, then you wouldn't even know you did, right? So I would say probably not. I don't think he ever did. Now, if he did, that would be interesting. I think Negan would actually probably just joke about it and be like, they do what? They wear zombie? Okay, we got to stay away from them. I would think, because they, it's obvious they don't have much to give him and the Saviors anyway, I would think. So once they scope it out and they kind of see that, yeah, they don't have shit, so there's no reason to try to, do anything with them. Might as well just leave them be. Yeah, so, and then he says, if the Whisperers do decide to attack Alexandria, do you think the Saviors will be involved? Well, I think they might be involved from Rick's standpoint. I don't think they would, we'll have to see what happens with Dwight, if he's still going to be the leader of the Saviors, or if there's going to be some kind of switch or mutiny or somebody take over if he doesn't want to do it anymore. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. I mean, none of that's been written yet or anything. There's nothing hinting towards that they would side with Alpha or the Whisperers. So I don't think so. But we are led to believe that the Whisperers have a huge amount of numbers, so they might not even need that. Plus, if they were able to steer a zombie herd towards Alexandria, it could be, it could be messy, right? It could be a really good strategy if they were able to get one of those huge herds that we see now in The Walking Dead years later, and use some of their men at the front to steer it towards Alexandria. And even if the Alexandriites tried to steer it away, if the Whisperers at the front kept going, the others would follow. So that's an interesting possibility that we may see in the comic series. I would like to see that personally, so we'll see how it all plays out. Okay. Next one's from Co91 Diabolic, and he says, hey Trev, been a fan of for 2 years now. I have been always wondering if you ever watch Dexter and what your thoughts are on the series. Please answer in Q&A. You're my favorite channel on the machine. Oh, thanks, man. The machine. That's fun. Well, the computers are machines, right? So, okay, cool. So, great question from him. I've been asked this one in the past before. Dexter is something that a lot of people on YouTube have recommended me to check out because I like Breaking Bad. I like The Walking Dead. I like these darker shows like this. Dexter was one that was a little bit too much for me. It was a little too dark for me. So I tried it. I watched like I watched the premiere, the first episode or two, and it kind of brings in those kind of moral questions of how you feel about what the character does in that. And I just can't get behind Dexter and what he does. I like more of your... I'm okay with some vigilantism where, okay, if you guys don't know the story of Dexter, basically, he's a serial killer. He feels he has the urge to kill. He has this he's compelled to kill, right? So he chooses victims that are really bad people, like some of the worst people in society, like rapists, mass murderers, other serial killers, stuff like this. It's quite the interesting series if you're into that stuff. And I am to a degree. I like the anime Monster, the manga Monster, if you've ever seen that. It's really good. But to a degree, I can't get behind what Dexter does 100% because he is a serial killer himself, and he brutally kills them a lot of times. And I'm just not, like, he goes a little bit too far. He's kind of like the Punisher, sort of, but more. I only bring up the Punisher because John Bernthal, the video yesterday, you guys saw that. But Dexter goes a little bit further than that with torture and stuff like that. I mean, some versions of the Punisher does too. I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. I was like, it's too dark. It made me kind of feel a little sick, that kind of thing. I was like, I can't watch it. It's just too much. Sometimes you get stuff that's too dark, like horror that's too much. The Walking Dead is horror, but it's a lot more accessible, I think, in terms of horror, even though there's some dark stuff in it. With the termites, for example, or the hunters, and other characters as well, too. But sometimes you get something that goes a little too over. For me, Dexter is that. That said, I can understand if a lot of you guys really like Dexter, and you're cool with that, and you really, really like it, because I know there's a lot of people love that show. I kind of wish I liked it. That way I could, get into that, because I know Dexter was a big series, and a lot of people on YouTube really like to talk about that and that. And there wasn't that many shows on a couple years ago, but I just never really got into it that much. Okay, we'll do one more. This one's from Y-Dog2. He asked some great questions, or she, I think it's a he. And he or she says, hey, Trev, I already commented it, but just in case you didn't see my message, I'm sending you through a private message. Thanks so much for all you do on YouTube, because you're by far my favorite YouTuber. I know you said that you're going to watch Lost, another show question. Maybe we'll do one more after this. But you didn't have time between work and the channel, and you said it would be too late to catch up. And no one would watch the reviews if they had already seen them. And then he says, but I would definitely watch the reviews since you're great at reviewing stuff, and plus it's off season for The Walking Dead. There's not much to talk about. Thanks. There's some things to talk about. I got some other ideas I'm going to do with you guys for sure. But Lost. So I tried it. And then I was reading about it online, looking some stuff up, and it just felt like it was just all over the place, a little bit like Under the Dome, but just too crazy for me, where it's like it just felt too contrived, like they're just making things up to keep it interesting season after season. And I don't like that. I know it was a huge series too, just like Dexter, and I'm just giving you guys my taste on it. I mean, or my thoughts on it. If it appeals to you, great. But for me, Lost just wasn't my thing. I tried it, but I just was like, no, I don't want to watch the rest of this. It's just too crazy. It's too over the top. It's too nuts. Okay. Let's see. We'll do one more. This one would be from I Hate Bud Light. It's spelled I-E-Y-E. I Hate Bud Light. And he says, two questions. Are they completely out of gasoline at this point? And does Alexandria still have electricity? So are they completely out of gasoline? In the comic book series, yeah, I think so. The TV series, no. But the comic book series, yes. It looks like they're totally out of gasoline, and they have to use horses to get around. And in terms of the electricity question, I think they have some, because in the TV series, you have the talk of solar power, right? So I think they have some, but I don't think they have enough to be, running it all the time. It's kind of like a mixture. It's an interesting world The Walking Dead is at right now in the comic books. It feels a little bit like the old Walking Dead combined with Game of Thrones. You have that kind of medieval society type thing where you have mills, you have people farming, you have all this. These are the kind of jobs people are doing. They're not, I don't know, fixing cars or, mechanics or anything like any of these more advanced kind of modern day society jobs. A lot of it's very basic jobs like farming and blacksmith and, all this stuff. A lot like Game of Thrones, right? Sword fighting and that, because there's no ammunition, except the Alexandrites do have ammunition. Or they're at least able to cast bullets. At least I think they're still doing that. that. Although I think so. Sometimes I get confused between the two, and I forget little things. But yeah, I think they can. So the electricity question, I think some. But I do really like the world in The Walking Dead right now, where it's that combination of like a medieval / zombie apocalypse that, you know, like society is building back up. But there are certain things you just can't get back online. Like you can't get nuclear power back just like that. You can't get computers running just like that. You know, there's some things that are okay, other things aren't. You know, the internet's not up and running anymore. You know, this kind of thing. So it's like the restart, you know, of civilization. You can't get gasoline. You know, people going fishing on regular, you know, old school ships and stuff. It's cool, man. Really like it a lot. So I'll call it here for this Q&A because I don't want to go on too long with you guys. Let me know what you guys think about all that. Let me know what you think about Morgan, how long you think he'll survive in the TV series. If you guys didn't see, I got a Morgan custom figure right there. Man, he turned out really cool. Really happy to have him next to the Ricks. I got the Rick, the Morgan, the Shane, the Governor who needs an upgrade, and Daryl who also could use an upgrade, and the Merle. Anyway. Let me know what you guys think about all that, and you know, I really do hope you guys have been enjoying the channel. I do put quite a bit of work into it. I hope you guys like it. So yeah, if you do, please thumb it up below. If you want to help support the channel, share it, favorite it, and if you're new and you want to subscribe at the bottom left, see lots of dead content, got content, you know, all kinds of fun stuff. Go ahead and subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one, guys. I'll see you again real soon. As always, it's Trev saying peace.